Kitty Low, wanna tell you. She got that rhythm and flow, rhythm and flow. Gotta get that rhythm and flow, rhythm and flow. She got that rhythm and flow, rhythm and flow. Let me hear that rhythm and flow. Radio show. The time has come for me to turn up. The time has come for you to run up. She got that radio, it run up. That inspiration, it just run up. Got that international cheer. Need some love and care. Cover all that's there. Total love and care. Cover the game from the top to the news. Celebrity drama, political trauma. The season of sports from basketball courts in the nation. Donation, support whenever you go, wherever you listen. Knowing how you do it, she always glisten. I'm telling you, we gotta get it right. So tune in, baby, right now tonight. She hit that rhythm and flow, rhythm and flow. Gotta get that rhythm and flow.
Hey.
Rhythm and flow.
I want to welcome you to the #1 internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com, and iHeart Radio station. This is Rhythm Flow Radio. I am big and beautiful. I am fat, but also fabulous. I'm cute, but most of all, I'm confident. I am the big sister of Rhythm Flow Radio, your host, Katie Lowe. We are so happy that you decided to explore internet radio, www.intellectualradio.com, where not only do we feed your brain, we are here to entertain. We have an awesome segment lined up for you. This is a show that I am so happy to do because we have live in our studio none other than the notorious Bunky from Empire. I think anybody that can talk back to Terrence Howard the way Bunky did
will get you killed.
And it did too.
Right.
But listen, this is going to be a good show today because I'm going to get some more opinions, and I'm going to get these opinions about two things. Okay, I got to do it. I did it with the last guest. I'm going to get these opinions. Once we get these opinions, then we're going to go straight into Bunky because you know what? I heard this man has been doing some ghost riding.
Oh.
Okay. And you know you gotta be awful good when you can get killed off a show and come back as a ghost. You know, just drop out the air and say I'm here. You know,
Right,
you got to be pretty good because usually when they kill you on a series, you're dead and gone.
Right. Or you can come back as a twin too.
You can come back as a twin.
Right.
Well, you know now.
A clone. A
You,
double.
wait a minute. He wanted to come back as a twin.
All right.
Okay. Tell him the story.
I came up with this idea that I would come back as Bunky's twin, Funky, who was a CPA.
Funky. Hey.
So
Yeah.
it would be really good. That's pretty good.
Okay. Now when he told me this, I thought this has got to be a joke. I know he didn't want to tell you.
Right.
No, I
No.
totally got Danny Strong. And I was like, Danny, I got this idea, man. The show doesn't have a CPA. I could come back as Funky, Bunky's twin brother, who is the CPA.
Right.
He could work with Lucius at Empire. He was like, take it easy, Antoine. No, so
You can see the conversation now.
Bunky.
it
No,
was
it's
brief.
Bunky.
It was brief. It was a very brief conversation. So.
Okay, before I play this music, I'm going to do this right now. Before I play this song, I'm gonna play your girl song, Rachel White.
Yeah, Rachel White.
Rachel White. White. Right.
Rachel White.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have a way that I murder words.
It's okay.
I do. I mean, I take a word and I just kill it.
Right.
You know, and then I think I'm justified for doing it. That's just like a person telling a lie and believing their own lie. They want everybody else to believe it. I can murder
It
words.
can become true.
Anyway, I just want to get your quick opinion on this, and we're gonna play the name of the song. I think it's called "Promises or Problems" by Rachel White. But before we play that, I'm going to jump in on this because I got to get these opinions and get them out of the way. We're going to pray for everybody in Houston.
Amen.
Amen.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is right.
Yes.
We're praying for them because they are in a crisis.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And when we're in a crisis, a lot of times that's when we call on the Lord, which we should call on him before we're in the crisis.
That's right.
Okay. But we call him when we're in a crisis. But this is what I want to ask. Just want everybody's opinion. You don't have to agree with me because opinions are like, you know what? And everybody got one. I can't
Belly
say it on that.
buttons.
Oh, belly buttons. You sure clean that one up for me. Okay, anyway, there's a mega church that's in Lackland, Lackland,
Mhm.
Texas.
Yep.
Pastor Joel Osteen.
Mm-hmm.
That church used to be a football stadium.
Yes, it was.
The capacity that he could hold, according to the internet, is 16,800.
Mhm.
That area where that church is was not affected by the flood as other areas were. They didn't get as much water damage, and it was they could move around. It was livable, where the other areas that flooded and people had to re-evacuate. So now you got all these homeless people. They have nowhere to go. Okay. But here's a man that is a man of the cloth with this church. And I respect this man wholeheartedly. I listened to him. Okay. But I didn't agree with him this time. When he said that he would pray for those people instead of taking his sanctuary, even though he has turned that around now. He turned that around today and allowed the people to come to his church as a shelter. But at first he didn't. He closed the doors. Now, I just want your opinion. You don't have to agree with me because, like you say, opinions are like belly buttons. Okay, but I just want to say this. This is my opinion. If you are a man of God, a woman of God, a person of God, and you have a crisis like this, aren't you supposed to go and help those people? You're not supposed. I don't think you're supposed to say, "Well, I was just gonna wait till the shelters fill up, and once the shelters fill up, I was gonna take the overflow." This is my opinion. I just think that you're supposed to say, "Look, we got a place here that's safe, okay, and let's see how we can come together and shelter some of these people because these people have nowhere to go." But Joel Osteen didn't do that. How does that affect you?
I have to be honest, I have not heard that story.
Okay.
But if it is in fact true, of course, I think like majority of the people, it doesn't feel good and it doesn't sound right. And I think the fact that he did open it at some point is still amazing. So you recognize that, and we do have to recognize that. But it's not about making a moment. It's about helping people. But on the other side of that, him standing up and wanting to open that church right away, if he did, would have not only helped people, but it also would have been a moment because he's not just a regular man of the cloth. He is a public figure and a man of the cloth. And that changes things a little
Talk
bit.
to me.
So that's how I feel about that.
I like that. I really like that. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Come on, girl.
The initial response was a little off because we pray for things, answers to questions. That would be one thing. He had the means, so the response should have been to open the doors. It's like if you have a bunch of sandwiches on the table and someone comes to you and say they're hungry and you say, "Oh, I'm going to pray for you." No, I don't need to pray. I have the means. I thank God for the sandwiches and I'm going to give you a sandwich or two, So it's
you
like,
say if you got the means,
you have been provided by God with the means to help. So you don't have to pray. You have to respond with, "Here you go."
okay.
Proverbs 3, it talks about when you have something and you can do it today, don't have somebody come back tomorrow.
Right.
Don't procrastinate.
Don't wait for
Right.
it.
Okay.
And and that is a direct command from God.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that is, if you are a minister, and you will be held to a higher call when you are a minister and you are shepherding people. It is a responsibility you have to be better than the next guy. Like when that day comes, that great getting up morning,
All right now.
Mhm.
you are going to be judged more harshly than the rest because you were trusted with something that a lot of people aren't trusted with, and that's people's faith.
Mhm.
And you have to you got to sacrifice. You got to let go. I think it's Proverbs 3:28. I think it may be. I don't know. I can paraphrase it, but it's like it does say, come back. You don't have somebody come back when you have it today.
Yeah.
Don't have them come
Yeah.
back tomorrow. You give it right then. You give it right there. And for a person to have as much as he has, and actually just signed another pastor to their ministry team for
Hallelujah.
what, $5.6 million or something like that,
Wow.
or even more so, over a period of years. There should be zero hesitation.
Yeah.
He should have. Let's get really real. He should have thought about this before it even happened.
I said and I thought, like, if he had done this, could you imagine? Social media would have just blew up. I could have seen Twitter and I could have seen things crashing because of a sacrifice that he's making.
It would have been a moment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, I'm gonna bring these people into this I'm gonna bring these people into this church, into the sanctuary, because they have nowhere else to go. And
it's
we're
the
gonna
church.
help them.
Yes.
Could you imagine a preacher doing that with a mega church?
And the easy part about it is it's not like your personal home. It's a church. It's the home where God's people are supposed to be welcome. So it's like it wasn't. It's like, man, it should have been.
It's an
With that-
opportunity to
yeah.
increase people's faith.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yes,
But
he
they
did.
take it.
Right.
But we do
And-
give him the credit that he corrected himself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He did correct himself, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he learned
He
and
did.
did it right.
Yeah,
Right.
did
because we
correct
all have to
himself.
correct
Yeah.
ourselves because we
Yeah.
can sit in the
Mhm.
judgment seat, which we're not supposed to do.
Yeah, he did correct.
Right.
himself.
And
Right.
and point the finger, but
Right.
no, we won't. I won't do that. I
Okay.
won't do that.
All right,
I'd
we're
say,
gonna
you
we're
know.
gonna leave that alone because
Mhm.
I want to come back. I haven't seen Antoine in a while,
Mhm.
so I really want to know. I mean, I'm constantly on social media and I see him, but I really want to know what he's been up to, because the last time I think I sit and talk to him, I was trying to squeeze him to get some of the stuff out of him about Empire. He went all around the block, So, when they start going around the block, I had Andrew in an interview trying to get him to tell me.
I was like, I don't know anything about
Yeah, he said, I don't know. I said,
Right,
I guess y'all all get together and y'all,
So
ain't gonna tell
the
us.
new character, Funky.
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna play this song by Rachel White. Want to remind you that you're listening to the #1 internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Radio station. This is Rachel White, Problems.
Boy, you drive me crazy, but you're still my baby. Crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems. Boy, you drive me crazy, but you're still my baby. Crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems, yeah. I need you to get your creep on. I can't get no sleep, boy. You make my body feel, boy. You spit just like a toy. You're so deep, boy. Your love turns me into a savage, yeah. The next chick can't never have it. Crazy, you're still my baby. Crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems. Boy, you got me crazy. I'm crazy, crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems. Crazy what it seems, boys. There's no need to be cool. You make me feel supreme, but you're so fresh, so clean. Your touch only reveals my emotions have no chills in my heart life. Cause I'm your plus size dream girl, baby boy, the real McCoy. I give you all the cheeks to please me. Just make love to my mind and explore my body. Oh, you tell me crazy, but you're still my baby. Crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems. Oh, you tell me crazy. I'm crazy. Crazy, I'm so crazy. Crazy, I'm in love with you. I got problems.
Right there, that is Problems by Rachel White. That is one awesome song. I want to welcome you back to the number one internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart radio station with over 70 shows, 70 to 150 hosts and co-hosts, streaming 24/7 on your smart device with internet access. That's www.intellectualradio.com and iHeart radio station. Well, I know y'all know everybody, but I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I'm gonna let them go down the line. Y'all already know who I am. Day, I don't have any food. I don't have anything but water. Nobody bought me any food, knowing that I like to eat.
I got 2 tacos in the car.
You do?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure you don't want them? Your wife? You don't want them? You sure? Y'all done ate all y'all could, huh?
I didn't know. I would have brought you something.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to take. I'll get them tacos. And I'm gonna eat them. I love to eat. That's why I'm like this. I like food. I'm a connoisseur of good food. Okay, and I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves. I'm so glad to have this man in the studio right here. Tell them who you are.
I'm Antoine McKay. I'm an actor. I'm a teacher. I'm an owner, co-owner of a theater, along with my business partner Tony Lowry, who runs a theater company called Theater of the Law. But I own and run McKay Arts. That has been open for, we opened in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And yep. And the theater's been open on the 3rd of September. Will be a year that we've been open.
But tell them who you really are.
I'm Antoine McKay. I also played Bunky on Empire.
All right, that's what we want to hear. Okay. Okay, and
I am Teresa A. Moore, aka Trey Moore.
Trey Moore.
And the guy on the end.
Andre Bellows, and I am co-hosting today with Katie Lowe, and I'm excited to be here.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Listen,
Oh, I'm co-hosting too.
you're always co-hosting, girl. Listen, we're gonna get right into your video.
Okay.
We're not gonna talk about anything else. We're not gonna talk about Floyd Mayweather in the fight. But I'm glad he won. We're gonna talk about the first thing is because a lot of people are inquisitive.
hmm
How did you get that part on Empire?
I think you and I even talked about this a little bit before. Um, uh, it was really interesting, like the timing of everything, and I'm a man of faith, so it's all God's timing. So, my mother had was ill, and I was going back and forth to Detroit because that's where I'm from originally, and
It's my food.
and
I'm sorry.
no, it's good. I was going back and forth to Detroit. My mother was ill at the time, and it was just, it was a matter of time. She was in hospice care and everything, and
Wow.
it was a matter of time,
Excuse me.
before we lost her. And I was back in Chicago, and I wasn't emotionally in a good spot. And my agent called me and said, "Hey, why don't you go to this audition? It's for a show called Empire that Lee Daniels is doing." And I was like, I don't know, man. I wasn't even in the mood to go, to be honest with you, because my heart was heavy. And my wife actually was like, "You might as well just go. Just go and do it. Get your mind off of it.
Yeah.
Go." And I went, and I prepared and went there, and I walked in the room, and Lee was actually there, and I didn't think he was going to be there.
Man, when I had heard that name, Lee Daniels, that would have seemed like a blessing.
I mean,
coming
yeah,
my way.
I mean, it was huge. It was huge. And of course I was like, what? Oh my gosh. But, I didn't know if I was going to have to pack up and go back to Detroit, and because my mother was sick. And then, but then I walked in the room, and there he was. And we talked for a minute, and he had been to a popular soul food restaurant in Detroit called Mr. Fofo's. And we talked for a minute, and then he was like, "Okay, cool. Let's just see what you do." And I did it, and he was like, "That was great, man. That's great. I really loved it." And like a few hours, I got home a few hours later, they called me and
Wow.
and said, "Hey." At first, though, they called me and said, "Do you have a reel of your stuff? Can you see?" So I sent them some stuff that I had done, and he wanted me to be on the show, and so he actually kind of stood up and said, "Hey, this is the guy. This is the guy I want. I know he can."
But
And-
you had prepared yourself. Man, you know how some people they stumble upon things
Right.
to become an actor.
Mhm.
You had prepared yourself.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your education?
I went to Eastern Michigan University. I majored in theater. I majored in English literature. I worked with a coach, a world famous acting coach who is, to this day has taught so many people. Her name was Uta Hagen. And I worked with her in Michigan and in New York, and she was great. And then I was at Second City from 1997 to 2006. I was at the Detroit Second City, which is a satellite theater, and then I was here in Chicago from 2003 until 2006 on the main stage. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah.
Now, part in Empire.
Mhm.
Did it change your life?
It changed everything. It changed everything. In fact, I was at the next day. We were still shooting things because they had added more stuff, which was really great.
Mhm.
And it was the night after the premiere, and I went to Ogilvy Transportation because I was heading to Cinespace to shoot some more. And I walked down the stairs, and I walked up to Taco Bell, and I got mobbed by people. It was just like, "You were on Empire last night, man. Man, that's messed up what they did to you, dog. If I was there, I would have shot him back, man." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." I got free Taco Bell that day.
Right, it's the beginning,
I
the
love
very
it.
beginning.
It was cool,
Yeah.
but it's I like that changed a lot of things for, because I mean, even gosh, that day to that train station was really unique, because after I had taken pictures with people and stuff like that, and I was heading to get into a cab to go to CineSpace, somebody from a company called Media 8 called me and said, "Hey, man, you want to do this movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, what is this movie about?" And he said, "Let me email you a script." And they emailed me a script, and they were like, "You can have it if you want it, man." I was like, "So do you want me to put myself on tape or anything?" They were like, "No, it's yours if you want it." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm on it." And they were like, "It's one day's work, man." And we negotiated, and it was really cool. And since then it's been, I'm on a new show now that's on Amazon. We started shooting again in April, which I'll get to go to.
But you were just on with Patriots?
Patriot. It's on Amazon. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I got really great reviews. So it's been on since February, and we start shooting season 2 relatively soon, and in October. It's moving. And I got 3 other movies coming out this year. I had another one that just came out, and it's just been, God's hand has really been on my career, and he's really just provided and pushed things forward. And it can get a little crazy sometimes, a little hectic with the theater and classes. And we are parents of 6 kids, and
beautiful family.
Yeah.
I saw y'all on Facebook.
Oh, my sister's wedding. Yeah, my sister's wedding. Yep.
Absolutely.
And
Okay.
it was but yeah, it's it's all Jesus. Like, ultimately, it's all Jesus. He it's in his time, and it's in his and how he wants it to go. And the word says, like, a man has his plan, but God knows the final and the ending of it all. So
I love it. I love it when I interview somebody and they make that spiritual connection. I think that is one of the most righteous things. I think that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
When a person says it's in God's plan. I had Deanna Reed Foster.
Yeah, she's a strong believer.
I mean,
and a brilliant talent too. Like,
I'm telling you,
talented.
she's barbecue.
Yeah.
At the Steppenwolf.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just love the way you make that spiritual connection and say this is God's plan. I'm working out a plan that God has for me.
Right.
I'm following his plan.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah. And like I said, you want to do things your way, but Jesus has it ordered.
Right.
He wants it, and when he wants it, and when you're ready for it.
Okay.
And that's the huge thing, because gosh, when I was at Second City, I wasn't necessarily walking with the Lord, and I was having success, and it was great, but I was an actor when I was there, and I wasn't a believer who happens to be an actor, or a father who is an actor, or a husband who is an actor. I was an actor before I was anything else, and and he gently showed me that that it's supposed to be other way. That there's an order to things, and that he has, and it's important that you keep things in that order. And every time I stray from that order, boom, it's like he lets you know. He lets you know.
They said the Bible is always basic instructions before leaving earth. Bible.
Yep.
And they said that those instructions fall in an order.
Yes, they do.
And as long as you stay in that order, the things that are supposed to happen to you will happen in that order. But when you stray, it's trying to walk a straight line with crooked shoes.
Yeah.
It just don't work.
Right.
It just don't work.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I have another question, but I want to know if either you all know Antoine. Is there anything that you want to ask him? Because I have something that I'm going to ask him, then I'm going to let him talk about what's going on at McKay Arts. And I want him I'm gonna be nosy and try to get him to tell me something about Empire. If he don't tell me, I'm gonna kick him on his foot.
Could you talk about the projects that you have coming up, the movies that you have lined up?
Yeah, I did a film called Game Day, which is coming out this year, which is really funny.
Who's in
And
that with you?
it was Lil Romeo. It was Lil Romeo.
The
Is in
Romeo.
that, yeah.
Okay.
I have a very it's a really fun part, but it's like a cool small part.
Okay.
But it's like it's
Okay.
one of those opportunities that you get and you go, oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna go do this. So and it's really cool. Also, I just a film just came out called which I'm really like very proud of. It's called He Sends Rain. Jeff Dull, who is good friend of mine, we actually went to the same church for a while, and he wrote a beautiful film. And he asked me to be in it, and it was really cool, and it was. So it's out now. It's
Any
on
more recognizable faces in that one? With
Mimi Sangden is in it. She's been in a few things. She's very talented, very talented.
Okay.
A
lot of local talent.
A lot of all local talent.
Okay.
All local Chicago talent.
Okay,
But what's really beautiful about it is we saw it it was released 2 weeks ago. And we went to the premiere party, and it was exceptional.
All right.
And the performance, like usually you can see through people's performances in some, and you know what I'm talking about, brother. You're like, you guys know.
Yeah.
Like you see performances, and it's like, oh, collectively that movie was very good.
Okay.
But you still see bits and pieces like, oh, that was a little shaky. But on a whole, it was just beautiful. And what was really cool about that film is I got to shoot that with my son, who's an actor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's 15, and we shot this film 2 years ago. And we got to stay in Rock Falls, Illinois, and we were in a hotel room. We were eating ice cream all the time, and just hanging out and kicking it for a week, which was really great. And to have that time with him, and then to see, because he kicked me off set, because after every take I was like, "Hey man, come here, I want to show you something. I want to talk to you about this line."
I love that.
And then one day he was like, "Dad." No, it was like the second day. He was like, "Dad, I got this. Just go back to the hotel." I was like, "All right."
And that's actually something that I wanted to ask you. How do you balance family and career?
It's really important that you have to prioritize your family over everything. And I know I make people crazy in my life. Like if my wife or children call me and I'm in a meeting, I'll answer the phone. Or I'll go, excuse me, and leave and go answer the phone. And I know that makes people nuts. But I'm like, but it's just that mentality, like everything has to stop for my family. Everything has to stop.
And like you mentioned, there's an order to things.
Right, there's an order. Right.
The
Like,
family's at the top.
exactly, because I'm not going to, God willing, I'm 90 years old. I'm surrounded by grandchildren, and I can't act anymore. And it's like, who's gonna be there?
Yeah, and
somebody got to be the great grandpa.
Exactly. I'm down with that.
Forever.
I'm down with that. But it's like, you want to make sure that you're connecting with your children. You always hear the horrible Hollywood stories and stuff like that of people who are estranged for years and angry and bitter, and that's something we don't want. We have, of course, you go through the we have 4 teenagers right now, so I don't know how that's going to shake out.
Okay.
But even though they're growing and they're searching for themselves, and again, back to the Bible, train a child up in the way he should go, and he will return to it. If it goes from it, he will return to it. And it's like, it's we hope that they always have that. So that's a huge thing.
And then living in Illinois, period, and in this day and time, it's important to have that connection with your children.
Right.
Because a lot of parents don't have that connection and they lose them. So that's very important. And it is awesome how that you can juggle your career. Plus you have McKay Arts. Up at 1639 was Jarvis.
1439.
1439
was Jarvis.
Was Jarvis.
Yes.
And tell us about a little bit about what you do up there.
What we do is we want to give people opportunities. So the reason why my wife and I started the company, and we started it we emptied the biggest room in our house in 2011 and painted it black and made it a classroom.
Wow.
And we started having classes on Saturday. So 8 people showed up, and then we had 10 people, and then it was too many people. So we were able to rent space, and then it just kept going over the years, and we kind of bounced around a lot, which was tough. And then finally we landed where we landed at 1439 West Jarvis. What we wanted, we started the company with the intent to give people who are brilliantly talented or talented an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to perform and an opportunity to step into this business and get a chance. Because you think about it, how do we all get going? Somebody said, "Hey, give me a hand. Come this way." And I remember when I first moved here, I was on main stage, and I'm not name dropping, but Keegan Michael Key is a very good friend of mine. And we came up together in Detroit theater and worked together at Second City. And when I first moved here, he walked me around and helped me find an apartment. Wow. Then, like the first night I actually got all my stuff here, I was sleeping. He came banging on my door at 8:30 in the morning. He was like, "Get up. We're going to get an agent." Got me up. I was barely dressed. He put me in his car. We drove downtown. He walked me into his agent, and he was like, "Sign him. This is the guy. He's on main stage. You got to sign him. Let's see it. You got to do it. Let's do this right now." And he was just, and like, that's what people need. People need that help walking through doors. And that's what we want to do. We want to give people opportunity to come to a theater and perform. So we do plays, we do improv, we do sketch comedy, and we do stand up. We haven't had to do a lot of chance to do a lot of stand up because I've been trying to get you down there for since I've known you, because a friend of mine named Rick March who says you're hilarious and you're a great stand up. And Rick's like, he's like, "Man, why don't you get Katie down there, man?" I'm like, "Dude, he's like, dude, she is so funny. She is so funny. So
funny.
Yeah. So Rick always speaks highly of you.
Thank you, Ricky Marsh.
But yeah, we do all of that, and then we have classes. We teach acting, we teach improv. Of course, different levels of improv, different levels of acting. We also teach writing classes and stand-up class, and
you've added something.
Voiceover. Yes, we do voiceover work.
Cool.
That gives people an opportunity. So on Saturday afternoons at 4:30, we charge $20 for people to come for an hour and 15 minutes, and I just teach them to.
You can't beat that.
And it's like, and if you want to just keep coming back every week, or you want to skip a week, you can. We're gonna eventually start alternating the weeks. 1 week is voiceover, 1 week is improv, and that way people can just get the training, get the opportunities, and it's not costing them an arm and a leg, because a lot of people don't do this because they say, "I can't afford it." Yeah, and it's like, that's ridiculous. Why? We all need an opportunity to learn these things. So I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, and it's important to train.
Listen, we invited you here because we wanted to know about Antoine McKay.
Right.
I wanted to know about Bunky. Okay, who is Antoine McKay?
Right.
But it's important that people that wants to come back. It's funny. But it's important that you let people tell people how this chain, this ball got to rolling for you. Because there are some people who don't know. They actually don't know. And it gives people hope. It gives somebody a chance. Okay?
Yeah.
Because some people say, "I want to do that, but I can't."
Right.
He said, "Yes, you can."
Because you can.
Okay.
I'm from the west side of Detroit. I grew up in a small town called Inkster, Michigan. And we grew up on the south side of Inkster. So, the south side of anywhere is bad.
Now, don't forget about the west side.
Right, exactly.
Honey, what's that ain't bad?
I'm joking. Because,
No, don't joke. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But we had a great, people think it's bad, but it's like you have great neighbors, you have great people around you, and I have great parents who are like, there's more than just this corner right here. There's more than just this neighborhood that you ride your bike around. There's worlds to explore. And, and acting has literally taken me all over the world, like all over the world. I've been to Argentina. I've been to China. I've been to Puerto Rico. Canada's not far, but it's here. I've been to London. I'm going to Paris at the end of October. It's like it's just taking me everywhere, and so it's it really is. It really is a blessing. It really is.
Okay, this is the last segment, and we're gonna have to get off the air. But I want you to give them the name of the studio and that address again.
Okay, it's 1439 West Jarvis. It's called the McCaw Theater. We have 2 shows coming up. One in October, opens October 19th, called The Unspeakable Gift. And then one in November called Shy Me River. It's a sketch comedy show by Hot Lava. That happens. And then we have a show in January coming up. But we always have classes, so you can go online to mckarts.net and look at what we have coming up. And you can register for classes. You can see all the shows that are happening. Everything at mckarts.net. And
okay, start.
These are stage plays that you
stage plays, right. And we're doing all this year. We're really focusing on all the plays that we're producing are written. They're original material written by women. So yeah.
I want you to start tagging me.
Okay.
So that I can share that in 7 places.
Right.
You need to tag me.
I will.
About everything that's going on at my K Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I can share it in 7, 8, 9, 10 places, because we have 3 places.
Right.
At Intellectual Radio, 3 or 4 places we can share.
That's great.
So you got about 10 or 11 places.
And stay tuned for McKay Arts South. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now
I am. Listen.
All right.
You're not gonna believe this. Was it you and I that was talking about that? No.
At your house?
Yep.
I think we did talk about that.
I had just and I know I told several people this. I said he needs to come up out of what's that, Evanston?
Mm-hmm. Evanston.
He got to come up out of there.
We're Rogers Park.
I say
Chicago, the north side.
I say he's got to come. He got to move where we can get centrally located. Where we can get to him.
So that's what that's the next move.
I'm gonna love that.
Now, all of the productions that you have, is it with your students that are doing the performance, or other people outside?
People outside have auditioned, but we love to put our students in the show. We want to promote from within. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got this one question. I got asked.
Okay.
I got 2.
All right.
Okay. Number 1. If you can't tell me, just look down. If you don't want to tell me, just tell me. I don't want to talk about it. Are you going to be? Empire season is coming back up in September.
Mm-hmm.
Empire does some crazy stuff.
Yes, they do.
They're gonna be doing some crazy stuff with you this time.
I have heard something.
You heard something?
But that's all I can say.
You know.
There it is.
You know what?
That's your exclusive.
I get it. Okay. At least I tried. Okay. The one other thing is, do you remember the last lines that Lucius said to you?
All right, come on.
I think it was
before he killed you.
Yes, I think it was. I've known you for 14 years. This breaks my heart. You have known you for 14 years. You're like a brother to me. But I never let anything come between friendship, except for this bullet. And then the music went.
and I remember watching that scene, and it was such a memorable scene. And even now, I mean, people still talk about it. So it's very powerful.
You know what I've done? I have pulled that over upon YouTube and watched it over and over and over again.
And it really
that's really creepy, Katie.
I have. I really have. When I found out I could find it on YouTube, I said, "Oh, I gotta go watch this." And I was saying, "Wow, that's really deep."
It's deep. It's deep.
But then they brought him back. Well, he's not telling. But anyway, I really want to thank you for spending your time with us.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it always.
Listen, we want you to be a friend of Intellectual Radio.
I am. I
Okay.
love y'all.
Okay. So when something is going on, you must notify us so we can make space where we can bring you into the studio.
Okay.
And get an interview.
All right.
Okay.
And I love this place. This is great.
Well, thank you.
This is so nice, Mr.
Thank
Winfrey.
you.
Pleasure to meet you. Excellent producer. Excellent.
Yeah.
Handling business.
Okay.
He's got
Gonna
4
be
arms.
celebrating.
He created an apparatus.
Oh, and I have to remind everybody
It's like
of
we're
the 7th.
celebrating Earl.
We got to get off the air because time is money. Money is
Mhm.
time. The 7th annual Black and White Ball and the Buzzing Off Awards, Saturday, September the 9th, 2017, at the DuSable Museum of African American History, 740 East 56th Place in Chicago, Illinois. They will be honoring none other than super producer Earl Winfrey.
Woo!
Okay. We asked everybody to buy a ticket, but if you can't buy a ticket, you can place an ad. If you don't want to place the whole ad and you just get your name in the book, we ask everybody to donate $6, just $6, and that'll get your name on the page. Okay, so this affair is September the 9th, right around the corner. Okay, so we ask you that if you want to donate, listen, you can contact me, or you can come right here to Intellectual Radio at 2135 22nd Avenue in Broadview, Illinois, and bring that $6. If you have a business, hey, advertise with us. This is the place to advertise with. Okay? You've been listening to the #1 internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartRadio station. I thank you so much for tuning in to Internet Radio. And I'm trying to get to my saying, but you know how that is. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, my saying for today. I am responsible for my actions, my behavior, and my words. I take responsibility for everything I say and do. I am the creator of my destiny. I can't blame others for the things that happen to me. Today, I'm accepting responsibility. I thank you so much. Antoine McKay, aka Bunky, Teresa A. Moore, and Andrew Bellows. Thank you so much.
Dre B.
I just don't know what the problem is. Introduce myself to some and present myself to others. My name is Katie Lowe. Introduce myself to some and present myself to others. My name is Katie Lowe.
This is Lenny. Hey, this is Lenny Williams,
And this is Katie Lowe.
and I enjoy listening to IntellectualRadio.com.
And welcome to Rhythm and Flow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got another show coming in.
Gosh.
This is why I told you what I was.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Great show, Katie. Thank you for letting me guest co-host.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me guest co-host.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm on a picture with you too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
take
we
pictures,
all
Kate.
right.
I don't know if yours is off. Oh, we got to move all this stuff.
Yeah. Y'all going over there and get some pictures.
Oh,
Take 'em.
Okay.
Take 'em.
Earl.
Hi.
Hello.
Good, how are you?
Hello.
Hey.
We got to get out of your way. Let's see.
If I need you to do a promo button?
Yeah.
Right here. Just say, Monkey,
Wait, what is that?
love it, that's ready. Everyone, ready. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Antoine McKay, aka Bunky, and I love Intellectual Radio.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, how you doing? I'm getting right on out your way.
Oh, that's okay. Take your time.
All right.
Okay, y'all get the pictures, Teresa. I'm telling you. Thank you now. Gone, Antoine. I'm coming. You get my stuff out of there. Thank you, Rebecca.
Rebecca, you're so nice.